You've been told your whole life that being quiet is a disadvantage, that you need to speak up more, network more, be more outgoing to succeed. Here's what they didn't tell you. The most successful people in the world, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, they're all introverts. The greatest innovations, from the theory of evolution to the personal computer, came from people working alone. This isn't coincidence. It's a pattern. While everyone else is busy talking, you're busy observing. While they're networking, you're creating. While they're at happy hour, you're building empires in solitude. Think about it. We spend more time trying to be someone we're not than mastering who we actually are. That changes today. Because once you understand your natural advantages, everything shifts. Your need for alone time, your preference for deep work, your so-called overthinking. These aren't weaknesses. They're your competitive edge. Chapter 1. Why your brain works better, not slower. You know that feeling when everyone makes quick decisions and you need time to think? That's not indecision. That's intelligence. Your brain doesn't just process information. It analyzes it from every angle. While others are proud of their quick reactions, you're considering consequences they haven't even imagined. It's like they're playing checkers while you're playing chess. 3 moves ahead. Here's what's funny. We apologize for needing time to think. It's like a master chef apologizing for not microwaving your meal. Sorry, let me think about that, we say, as if thoroughness is somehow a flaw. Meanwhile, the person who blurted out the first thing that came to mind? They're considered decisive. Studies of college students found something shocking. Introverts consistently outperformed extroverts in every single academic subject tested. Every single one. Not because you're smarter, because you think deeper. You remember conversations from years ago. You spot patterns others miss. You see problems before they happen. That's not overthinking. That's thinking properly. Chapter 2. The power of working alone. Want to know why open offices are killing productivity? They were designed by extroverts who think collaboration means constant interaction. The result? Productivity dropped by 70%. While everyone's in meetings talking about work, you're actually doing work. While they're brainstorming in groups where the loudest voice wins, you're having breakthroughs in solitude. Einstein didn't develop relativity theory in a committee. Darwin didn't discover evolution in a focus group. Revolutionary ideas need solitude to develop. When you work alone, you're not distracted by office politics, unnecessary meetings, or that colleague who thinks out loud. You're just creating. Group brainstorming actually produces fewer and worse ideas than people working alone. It's like trying to paint a masterpiece while someone's shaking your easel. No wonder introverts dominate creative fields. You know those times when you're alone and suddenly everything clicks? When solutions appear that seemed impossible in a meeting? That's your superpower activating. Solitude isn't isolation, it's incubation. Chapter 3. Why people trust you more. Ever notice how people tell you their secrets? There's a reason for that. You don't interrupt. You don't make everything about yourself. You actually listen. Revolutionary concept, right? Research shows introverts score 4.70 on listening ability tests, while extroverts score 1.73. You're not just better at listening, you're in a completely different league. While they're waiting for their turn to talk, you're actually understanding. You pick up on what's not being said, the hesitations, the tone changes, the subtle emotions. You read between the lines while they're barely reading the lines. This is why your friendships are stronger even though you have fewer of them. Quality over quantity isn't just a preference. It's your relationship strategy. While extroverts are collecting contacts like baseball cards, you're building unbreakable bonds. The funny thing? People pay thousands for therapy to get someone to listen without judgment. You do that naturally. You're not antisocial. You're selectively social. And that selectiveness? That's what makes you trustworthy. Chapter 4. The leadership style that actually works. Think you need to be charismatic to lead? Think again. The best performing teams aren't led by the loudest person. They're led by the best listener. Introverted leaders do something radical. They let other people shine. They ask questions instead of giving orders. They lead by empowering, not dominating. Look at the evidence. The most successful companies in the world are run by introverts. Google, Microsoft, Berkshire Hathaway, all built by people who prefer solitude to spotlight. They didn't succeed despite being introverts. They succeeded because of it. The extroverted leader says, "Follow me." The introverted leader asks, "What do you think?" Guess which approach generates more innovation? When you give people space to contribute instead of dominating the conversation, innovation flourishes. Here's what's absurd. We promote the person who talks the most in meetings, then wonder why teams underperform. It's like making the hungriest person the chef. Speaking loudly isn't the same as thinking clearly. Chapter 5. Your learning advantage. You know why you prefer learning alone? Because it actually works. While others need study groups and constant discussion, you absorb information like a sponge in solitude. Introverts don't just memorize. You understand. You don't just learn facts. You see connections. You're not studying harder. You're studying smarter. This is why introverts dominate graduate programs, research positions, and any field requiring deep expertise. While extroverts are talking about what they're learning, you're mastering it. The education system keeps pushing group projects and collaborative learning. It's like trying to read a book in a nightclub. No wonder you learn better from books, videos, and independent study. Here's the kicker. You don't just learn better alone, you retain information longer. While others are forgetting last week's material, you're connecting it to something you learned years ago. Your mind isn't a bucket that fills up, it's a web that keeps expanding. Want to level up your people skills? Join our YouTube membership for early access to scripts, input on future topics, and connection with a community that gets the social struggle. Click join below, and let's master human interaction together. Chapter 6. The Creative Genius Pattern. Notice how the greatest artists, writers, and inventors were all introverts? J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter alone in cafes. Steve Wozniak built the first Apple computer in solitude. Creativity requires isolation. When you're alone, your mind wanders in ways it can't in company. Ideas connect that would never meet in a meeting. Solutions emerge that conversation would have killed. The myth is that creativity comes from collaboration. The reality? The best ideas come from solitude. Brainstorming sessions produce groupthink. Open offices produce distraction. But a quiet room and an introvert? That produces revolution. You know that zone you get into when you're alone? Where time disappears and ideas flow? That's not procrastination. That's your creative genius at work. Here's what's hilarious. Companies spend millions on innovation workshops and creative consultants. Meanwhile, you just need a quiet space and some alone time. Your creativity isn't loud, it's profound. Chapter 7. Why you make better decisions. While others are making snap judgments based on gut feelings, you're considering angles they don't even know exist. Your careful consideration isn't indecision, it's precision. This is why introverts excel at investment, strategic planning, and risk management. Warren Buffett doesn't make quick trades based on market noise. He thinks deeply, alone, for hours. Then he makes one decision worth billions. You naturally think long-term while others chase short-term wins. You see consequences while they see opportunities. You're not pessimistic. You're thorough. The data proves it. Introverts have better financial outcomes, lower addiction rates, and fewer impulsive mistakes. Why? Because you think before you act. While they're putting out fires they started, you prevented the fire from starting. Here's what's ridiculous. People will pay consultants millions to do what you do naturally. Think deeply about problems before acting. They call it strategic analysis. You call it common sense. Chapter 8. The Digital Age Advantage. The future isn't coming, it's here. And it's designed for introverts. Remote work, digital communication, online business, every major trend favors the quiet mind. While extroverts struggle with Zoom fatigue and missing office culture, you're thriving. You've been preparing for this your whole life. Working independently, communicating in writing, building relationships carefully. The digital world is your natural habitat. The biggest companies in the world were built by introverts writing code alone. Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, all started by people who preferred keyboards to crowds. The digital economy doesn't care how loud you are. It cares what you can create. Here's the beautiful irony. Social media, supposedly built for social butterflies, is actually dominated by introverts. You can be social on your schedule, from your space, with a mute button. You control the interaction. You choose the depth. Even AI and automation favor introverted skills, deep thinking, written communication, independent work. While others fear the future, you're perfectly built for it. Chapter 9. The success stories they don't tell you. Let's talk about who really runs the world. Elon Musk, introvert. Larry Page, introvert. Marissa Mayer, introvert. The list goes on. These aren't people who succeeded by being the loudest in the room. They succeeded by thinking differently, working obsessively, and ignoring social pressure. They didn't network their way to the top. They built their way there. In science, it's even more dramatic. Einstein, Newton, Darwin, Tesla, all introverts who changed humanity through solitary work. The greatest breakthroughs don't happen at parties. They happen in solitude. The myth is that success requires charisma, networking, and constant visibility. The reality: success requires deep work, clear thinking, and the courage to be different. Guess who's naturally equipped with all three? Here's what they don't teach in business school. While everyone's at networking events exchanging business cards, introverts are building products that make business cards obsolete. You don't climb the ladder, you build your own ladder. Chapter 10. Your time is now. You're not here to fit into an extroverted world. You're here to reshape it. Every major shift in human progress came from someone who could work alone, think deeply, and resist social pressure. That's not personality, that's power. Stop apologizing for needing alone time. It's not antisocial, it's productive. Stop feeling guilty for skipping networking events. You're not missing opportunities, you're creating them. Stop forcing yourself to be someone you're not. The world needs what you naturally are. Here's your permission slip. Work alone when you need to. Say no to meetings that waste your time. Choose depth over surface in everything. Trust your instincts about people and situations. They're usually right. The world is finally waking up to what you've always known. That the best work happens in solitude, the best relationships are built slowly, and the best ideas come from deep thinking. This isn't just your moment. This is your era. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be more social. You don't need to be anything other than what you are. The quiet ones aren't just participating in the future. They're creating it. Learn something new? Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe, and stick around for more. Got thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments.